Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay. So let me tell you about myself, and then we will go with yours. Correct. So I have been currently working with this particular organization since 8 years, and I'm working as a senior DevOps engineer here. And my team usually works on the cloud related things and the automation related stuff like building the CI/CD pipeline, building the infrastructure for the different customers, and all these things we are doing through the cloud formation and Terraform mixed. And we are using the Kubernetes as well for our application deployment. Correct. And we are the team of approx 26 members. All together, we are working to enhance our services to facilitate our customers with the highest availability and the security related stuffs. So this is all about myself and my team. So yeah, let's go with your introduction as well.
My name is Sohail Khan. I'm currently, sir, my name is Sohail Khan. I'm currently pursuing the Bachelor of Computer Application with Industry Integrated powered by Sunstone at Sri Ram Sir Memorial University. I'm
Okay,
highly passionate to the DevOps and have a skills in use the real-time projects and apply the complete DevOps life cycles.
okay. So
In my
currently,
projects,
yes, yes, you go ahead.
in my projects, banking systems and e-commerce projects. Use the
Okay,
With the Jenkins for automations, CI/CD pipelines, and Docker used to the containerizations for applications. And I deploy the containerizations on the Kubernetes and to ensure the availability and performance. And for provisioning to use the Terraform. Terraform is the AWS resources. AC2 Terraform is the AWS resources buildings, AC2, BBC for networkings, and TLB for traffic manage, and so on.
okay.
And
So
all.
currently you are in second year of BCA, correct? That's what you mentioned.
Yes,
Okay. And you are interested into DevOps and you are learning about the DevOps. That's good.
yes,
Okay. So in terms of cloud, which cloud you have worked as of now?
AWS.
AWS. And what all services you have used in AWS?
AWS 20 plus services, maybe.
20 plus services in AWS.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Can you name few?
AC2, S3, RDS, AKS, ACS,
Okay.
guard duty, and escalators, S3 escalators, and many more.
Okay. So what do you understand by NSCL?
SCLs,
NSCL, NSCL.
NICAL. NICAL
Yeah,
is the
yeah, Nickel.
subnet level of NICAL is the subnet level of security.
Okay.
This is stateless. NICAL is the stateless.
So what do you understand by a stateless and a stateful?
Stateless is the not to remember the connections, not to remember the connections. Is the stateless, and the remember the connections is the stateful. Like security, AWS security is the stateful.
Okay. So what do you understand by this stateful and stateless? Like, yeah, that's okay. What you mentioned that the thing which is remembered is kind of a stateful and the one who does not remember is kind of your stateless. So what exactly, like, if you have to explain it in a very layman language, like I'm not aware about the NSCL, I'm not aware about the security group, correct? And then you have to explain it to me. Like, then what I can think of stateless and stateful means.
Stateful is means where the connection established and connection the one more services like EC2 connect EC2 connect the security groups. This provide the security group EC2 levels.
Hmm.
This is the connections. Remember the where the connect the EC2 for security groups is the remember it.
Okay.
It's the straightforward.
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead. Uh, so suppose I have a EC2 machine, correct? And on that
Yes,
EC2 machine, I'm installing Jenkins. I have installed Jenkins, and I'm running some of the scripts also on that EC2 machine only, correct? And for that, I have to create few directories and I have to run certain commands on that. Now I have used this for once, like I have created this EC2 machine, I have launched that, and I have run my script, correct? I have stopped that in the evening so that we can save the cost as well. Tomorrow, once again, I have to launch a new EC2 instance so that I have to install each and everything. Whatever I have done today, I have to do the same thing tomorrow as well, correct? And same thing the day after tomorrow as well. So, what can we do to optimize this so that we are not doing the things manually, the same thing manually each and every day, rather than we can automate such things? Do we have any kind of provision to do this?
first of all, need to the create. Sir, one more times question I repeat, sir.
Okay,
I'm
nice.
not.
Okay, have you heard about user data?
Yes, sir. Data persistent.
User data I'm talking about. So there is a concept of user data in EC2 where you can write some of the script, and whenever your EC2 will be launched, it will run that script first and then your EC2 will become ready. Correct. So that you can learn about. Okay, so let's talk about suppose that you have to build your one application, correct? Website you can say. So
Yes,
what all services you can use to build your static website?
static website is it means of HTML CSS like this.
Yeah, only a static website, not the dynamic one. Like Amazon, Flipkart, and other websites are dynamic. You click, you get something, then you click somewhere else, and you get the different data, correct? So that's kind of dynamic. But I want a
Is
static
the
website to be launched.
is for the S3 buckets.
Okay,
S3 and the static website is required.
okay, that's good. So in the S3 bucket, I have a number of objects, correct? And I want that my bucket should not be public. I want to keep my bucket private only, correct? But I want that that bucket is created by me, correct? But I want that on one of the object, I want that you should review it, correct? So I want to give you a limited time duration permission for you. My bucket will be private, it won't be public. But I want that a particular object should be fetchable from your side and it will be available for only 5 to 10 minutes. So do we have any kind of provision to do this in S3?
S3 bucket policy. Create the S3 bucket policy and after apply it.
That will be approx for all the objects itself. Bucket policy will be applied to your complete bucket itself, correct? So it will be permission for all the objects which are stored there. But I want like there are just suppose there are 1 lakh of objects, and out of that 1 lakh of objects, I just want to give you the permission for one object only.
I'm not sure about this.
Okay. There is a concept of pre-signed URL in S3. So you should go about that as well. Okay, let's talk about the load balancer. What do you understand by the load balancer in AWS?
Load balancer is the distribute traffics. It's used for the incoming traffic from client side to distribute your resources from any resources like EC2 containers. You can distribute your traffic. Only healthy instance and running containers.
It's okay. What are the different types of load balancer and what's the difference between these two?
Different type of load balancer, classic load balancer, application load balancer, and one more. load balancers. This is for the particular specific conditions like application load balancer is for the application to area of this application.
Okay. So yeah. The second one is actually network load balancer. So do you remember any point about the application load balancer and network load balancer?
Network load balancer, massive servers. I'm not remember this.
Okay. Let's come to the question which I asked a few times back. So now I have to run a dynamic website, correct? You need to provision a dynamic website. So what all AWS services you can use and what will be your workflow to launch your dynamic website? You can include any services, either AWS, you can include your Kubernetes related concepts as well.
First of all, dynamic side create the files and after create the containers and container deploy the Kubernetes on Kubernetes and after deploy the containers and we will be after run the uh, run the container on EC2 machines
Okay.
and uh, and add the networking provisioning and create the infrastructure and so on.
Okay. So just suppose that your application is running on one of the EC2 machine, correct? And that EC2 machine, okay. So just suppose that your application is running on the EC2 machine itself, correct? And you want to fetch it from browser. Like you want to hit like suhailkhan.com, correct? That is your website name. You hit this URL in your browser, Chrome browser, and you want that whatever the page you have written down in the code, correct? That should reflect on your browser. It should open up. So how can you do this mapping? Your application is running on the EC2 machine, and you want to hit the URL suhailkhan.com in the browser. What will you do?
First of all, establish the
Mhm.
connections and fetch the IP address and connect the IP address and after then establish the IP address and connections, retrieve the connections and after fetch the HTML page. First fetch the HTML page.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
when you talk about the IP address, so just suppose that there is a particular IP address 127.10.11.24, any kind of
Yes,
IP address for the EC2 machine. But you don't want to hit the IP address in the browser, correct? You you will try to hit like suhailkhan.com or anything abc.com, that kind of URL. You are not going to remember any kind of IP address for any application. Whatever the application even you are using, the different application, flipkart.com, amazon.com or in google.com, correct? You are not going to type any IP address in the browser. So how will you map this abc.com to your 127 like EC2 public IP address? How will you do this mapping?
mapping the DNS using DNS.
Mm-hmm. Go
Yes,
ahead.
map the using DNS.
And what AWS services you can use for the DNS mapping?
Yes, I'm not sure about this.
Okay, no issue. AWS Route 53 you can use for the same. That is the service used for the DNS mapping. There you can create the different records to do the DNS mapping, either through your IP address or through any different DNS. Like you want to map it abc.com to xyz.com, that mapping you can do in AWS Route 53. Okay. So you are aware about the Kubernetes as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you understand by daemon set and deployment set?
Deployment and
Daemon set.
payment set is the background working the all background work like container image and anything to do the background working of the
Okay.
daemon
Okay.
and deployment is the expose the applications where the write the where the write the address and write the path and so on.
Okay. Can you explain me the architecture of Kubernetes?
Kubernetes architecture.
Yeah, Kubernetes architecture.
Kubernetes has a different components like deployment, namespace, namespace, and others. And first of all, Kubernetes need to the installs and run the Dockers and build the Docker image, and Docker image push on the Docker Hub and pull the Docker Hub and building the Docker containers and write the namespace and deployments, and this using the scale ups and scale downs. These are the all over the.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So, just suppose that I have five pods which are running, correct? And I'm trying to launch
Yes,
the
sir.
I am trying to launch the sixth pod, correct? And I have three number of pods on which all my pods are getting scheduled. So, where this sixth number of pods will be scheduled, so which component of Kubernetes will decide this? That which pod will go to which nodes?
Schedulers,
Okay, that's good. What do you understand by config map and secrets?
config map and script. Not
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So, have you worked with the Lambda function as well?
Yes, sir. Lambda function is the serverless service.
Yeah, correct. So, if I have to invoke this Lambda function using the load balancer, how can we do?
Sir, Lambda function usually the all architectures uh, build the AWS only to require to push the code and they run it. Maybe I can do this.
Yeah, that is like if you have to directly run your Lambda function, writing your code and running in the Lambda function, that you can do. But you don't want to do it manually, correct? You want that Lambda function is kind of event based. So whatever, whenever something will happen, that will invoke the Lambda function, and then it can be like whatever the outcome you have to get it, you will get, correct? So do you understand the backend services for the Lambda function? What are all the backend services which can be utilized to invoke the Lambda function? Okay,
I'm
no
not
issue.
sure, sir.
Okay, no issue. Okay, let's come to the Terraform. You mentioned that you are aware about the Terraform as well. Terraform,
Yeah.
you have done the AWS structure, sorry, infrastructure provisioning, correct? So when we talk about the Terraform, how do you manage your state files?
Terraform manage the state files.
Yes.
Terraform manage the state files and all record trackings.
Okay.
Terraform state files means that track the all resources,
Correct.
previous and current.
Okay. So where do you store a state file? Like to track the records, you need to put records somewhere, correct? Then only you will
Yes, sir.
get into that record, you will read about that, and then you will say that either it exists or not exists, correct? So where do you keep this state file so that you can track?
No, sir.
Okay. So there are some backend services and some local system as well. There you can store the state file, and whenever you have to read, like you can read about this Terraform state file as well, correct? That you will get to know more. So what do you understand by data block in Terraform? Yes.
Store the Terraform state files remotely, and this is the
Okay.
logins.
What do you understand by module in Terraform?
Model is the already written as the files and reusables. These are the reusabilities, the models.
Yeah, that's true. So suppose that I have two modules, correct? One is for the
Yes,
VPC and second one is for the EC2, creating the EC2 machine, correct? So whenever you will go to create your EC2 machine, you will require VPC ID as well, correct? You need to pass the VPC ID, then only your EC2 will be launched in some VPC, correct? So you have to get the output from VPC module 1, which is creating the VPC, and then you have to pass this output to the second module. So how will you pass the output from one module to second module in the Terraform?
yes, sir.
Okay, no issue. So let's talk about Docker as well. So what command you will use to run your application? Like you have created your image and now you have to run the application, correct? So what command you will use?
Docker builds,
Mm-hmm.
Docker builds, and after the names of image and space this directly dot, and the build the image, and after then Docker runs and Docker containers names and Docker containers names, and after write the port numbers, and
Mm-hmm.
after write the image names, port numbers
Okay,
and address.
okay, good. So what do you understand by this multi-stage Docker file?
Not sure.
Okay. What are all the networkings present in the Docker?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about the Jenkins. So in the Jenkins, can you explain me the number of stages what you have written for creating your Jenkins pipeline? Like what are all the stages you have written down?
Yes, sir. First is the test builds and push the Docker pull the Docker image from Docker Hub
Okay.
and build it and deploy.
Okay.
As a manually four steps:
Okay.
test and builds and after deploys.
Okay. Good. So what do you understand by multi-branch pipeline?
Multi-branch like that different branch exist the directly like a dev branch is a different branch and production branch and QA branch is a different branch and this all branch to communicate each other have the contribute
Mm-hmm.
and each branch to copy the address and after then this put it uh, Jenkins and after then run this all status line by line.
Okay. So suppose that you are writing your code, correct? Any
Yes,
programming language code, and you are writing it in Visual Studio Code or any of the platform, whatever you are using, correct?
yes,
And you have one GitHub repository as well that is created on your GitHub side. Now you
yes.
have to push your local code from your system, like Visual Studio Code or any PyCharm or something you are using, to the GitHub repository. So what are all the steps you will be following to push the changes from your local to your GitHub repository?
Suppose I have a VS Code,
Mm-hmm.
VS Code code and uh, and push the GitHubs and any updates, commit it, add it, and push it.
Okay, got it. So suppose that you are getting this 403 error when you are hitting your any URL in browser, like I have hit this xyz.com, correct? And this is deployed on EKS, you can say, Kubernetes related thing. And then you are getting 403 error. So what kind of possible causes be there due to this you are getting this 403 error code?
03 errors is the internal error, and this is internal errors of AKS, and see the logs and analyze the log whatever these times, and after this issue see, and after this resolve it. So
Okay.
where this is a issue.
Okay. Have you worked with the Linux as well?
Linux, yes.
Okay. So what do you understand by ch mode and ch on command
CH mode,
and ch on?
no sir, not sir.
Okay. What commands will you be using for checking the memory on the Linux?
Checking the memory.
Yeah. Like on a server, particularly, you are working, correct? And you want to check that how much memory is left, how much memory has been utilized, which is assigned, correct? So what command will you run to check this detail?
We hyphen h to we
Mm-hmm.
hyphen h. Check the disk spaces whatever this disk.
Correct. Correct.
And memory check can run the command u asterisk and some things like this.
Okay. Have you worked with Ansible as well?
Ansible is, yes sir. Ansible is a configurations origin configuration.
Okay. So what do you understand by pre-hook in Ansible?
Pre-hook,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this.
Okay. What is the default port for connecting any backend server? Like when you are trying to do the SSH, you have used SSH command?
Yes sir.
Okay. So what is the default port for connecting your any backend with the SSH command?
330 330, yes, maybe
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Have you worked with any APM tool as well, like monitoring tools?
Yes sir, Prometheus, yes.
Okay. Any other tool other than Prometheus?
Prometheus and Grafana, and only this.
Okay. You have worked with Grafana as well.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Grafana is for the desktop and Prometheus is the data logs.
Okay. So what kind of data we used to fetch in using the Prometheus?
Prometheus it does store the data logs, and after fetch the data uh, on Grafana and visualize this. Maybe this work over on this.
Okay. Have you worked with the CloudWatch as well?
What sir?
CloudWatch, AWS CloudWatch.
Cloud works. Yes.
Okay. What is the use case of AWS CloudWatch?
Cloud is the we have the monitoring and store the log data and analyze it. Any of services.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I think we are good with all the questions, and yeah, thanks for your time and the interview. Thanks, well. Anything you wanted to ask? Okay, thank you.